All right, welcome back everybody. Crypto Rolly here. Want to follow up on yesterday's video. We did close back above that rising trend line. Yesterday this was red as resistance. Today I've turned it back green and the 4-hour bouncing off of it right now. So we have technical analysis to jump in. Crypto Rolly here, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, these are my own ideas and opinions on the market. So please do your own research, trade at your own risk. I'm not your financial advisor. All right, hit that like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications. Let's roll. Let's roll. Looking at the market, Bitcoin slightly up, mostly sideways today. The volume's pretty decent, 1.5 billion. And you can see, a little are up, a little are down. Like I said, it's sideways. Crypto fear and greed index was down at a 39, slightly scared, because people just don't trust Bitcoin right now. I mean, how many times have we pumped and then ended up getting dumped on, and people are scared it's going to happen again? But if we continue higher today, this could definitely rise up to that neutral zone. And looking at the stock market, the fear and greed index is more neutral, not as scared as Bitcoin. I know some of you crypto fiends out there don't like to hear about the stock market, but this is a neutral bias channel, and if they're going to move together, I'm going to point it out. So let's go ahead and show you guys, for all those doubters right now. Of course, they don't move together every single day, but since last Thursday they have. You can see this candle here. This is it says 12 right there on the timestamp. Okay, you can see there's a green candle on the 12 timestamp, 2 down, and then a bounce. Let's look at Bitcoin. Here's the 12 on the timestamp, green candle, 2 down, and bounce. I don't need any more proof than that. All right, moving on. That was quick. All right, so we did bounce back above, finding support on that 4-hour. And looking like a potential bull flag here. We'll have to see. Maybe we continue a little further sideways and then bounce off of the trend line down the road, or we could take off here. But as long as we're above this rising trend line here, I can't be too bearish. Beneath it, I was, but back above, more bullish. And as long as the stock market is going to rise, I think there's a good chance that Bitcoin can rise. If the stock market dumps, Bitcoin's gonna dump. Okay, and like I said yesterday's video, guys, look at the daily. I mean, in this range we did decouple, so it's not every day, every week, but in this range they were moving together on the 15-minute candles, 1-hour candles, and you can see we're moving together, looking the same right now as well. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that, as long as that is the trend. And these trends change all the time. That's why you have to be prepared to change, your bias and adapt with the market. You can't stick to any one strategy or bias, because it's always evolving, and the quicker you can adapt, the better. All right, I'm also looking at this level here. 8,700 is very important level to maintain if we happen to drop lower, because we're still putting in higher lows. We happen to fall out of that rising trend, but it looks like more of a fake out now, and we bounce back above it. And still putting in higher lows. So on the daily, that still looks bullish to me, right? But 8,700 is going to be important, because if we lose 8,700, you're going to lose that higher low structure and put in a lower low on the daily, and then it's going to probably fall further. Probably. Let's look at where we would fall if we do fall further. Okay, so let me throw on the Fibonacci's, and I have something interesting to show you with this. So if I draw from the swing low to the swing high, you can see we already bounced off the 0.236 around 88, 8,900, bounced off of it there. And then we can see the 0.382s at 7,900 could be a potential level to bounce from, lining up with that price range there. 0.5 is at 7150-ish, and 0.618, the golden. This is going to be the key here, because Bitcoin loves to respect the golden retrace around 63.50. Now, let me go over to the weekly and show you why this is interesting. Let's throw on our moving averages. Your 200 EMA and the 200 simple, that's a green 200 EMA, pink 200 simple, rising and potentially will meet that level right there. So if we happen to get a massive dump, not just a little pullback, but like a doomsday dump, or we just put in a downtrend for several months, we might end up bouncing from this level and bouncing off of the 200 EMA and simple. You can see where price respected the pink 200 simple back here at the end of 2018 and got another bounce there at the beginning of 2019. So keep that on your radar, that level. And I would not want to drop lower than that because of a few things. If you lost that, didn't get your bounce from the 0.618, doesn't look good. If you start closing beneath that, that's going to be a first, because we never really traded beneath that level. Yeah, we had some wicks, but we ended up closing back pretty much in that region, not above it, but we'll just call it, we'll just say that it did, okay, for the purpose of this argument, okay? There wasn't a lot of price action below it, though. All right, not for too long. How about that? All right, nothing is perfect here. Nothing is perfect. So we have to draw conclusions where we can to form the bias. So if we drop beneath that and that, you're also going to back below the 6K. 6K held up price forever in 2018. I don't want to see us go beneath 6K. So definitely want to stay above that level there. All right, so let me go back to my horizontals that I had previously. All right, cool. Also, 10.5 is the level of interest. Why? I'll go over to my nice Coinbase chart real quick to catch you guys up on that. All right, 10.5. You can see that you had that price range in there, rejection, rejection, and a third one there. So this is definitely very tough resistance. But if we can get above that, I think everyone in the market will feel very bullish, and we might get a very quick pump. If we can break that level, I think we might pump hard. This yellow line is where we have an 11.8K CME gap with Bitcoin, and we know that Bitcoin CME loves to fill more than any gap there is on the planet. To the downside, if we do fall, another horizontal level of interest is around 7,800. This is where we had support level here, support flipped as resistance. You even had a mini ascending triangle there and broke out nicely. So that could play out down the road if we happen to fall. And you have this support box here between 7,300 and 6,700. We could potentially bounce there. And I haven't pointed this one out in a while. I like that support box because if you do fall and say we do bounce and come back up, what does that look like, guys? You name the pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Inverse head and shoulders on the macro. That would be crazy. All right. Enough with the hypotheticals. Let's go ahead and break down the indicators for you. All right. Let's go back to my Bitstamp chart. Let's go to the weekly. Take a look at that and put on my moving averages. We discussed our 200 EMA and 200 simple. All right, let me get those horizontals off. All right, so we're above all moving averages, and as long as we're above all moving averages, still feeling pretty good. We even got the bounce off of the light blue 10 simple, which is rising and crossed above all other moving averages, so that's good to see, and that's at 88.90. So you have support 88.90, and we're above the yellow 21 EMA at 85.53, above the yellow 21 EMA bull market, below bear market, and we're still maintaining above. And we didn't get a quick rejection. You can see here there was a blow off top. You got rejected immediately. All right, here we didn't last very long either. Here we were rejected pretty quickly. We've been just pushing and pushing. It kind of reminds me of this, where we just, kept trying to break 6K, and it finally just, the floor fell out, right? Well, the opposite potentially could be happening here. Let's take a look at the Ichimoku. We didn't do that yesterday, bounce off of the bottom of the cloud, bounce off of that red baseline, looking good in the cloud. Your resistance level to the top of the cloud is 11,300, and that would also give us a higher high on the macro. And if you can break that level, guys, it's blue skies. Now, I don't know about that. We're going to have probably going to have to break 14K and obviously 20K eventually. That will be the day. That will be the day. Let's look at our stochastics real quickly. All right, stochastics. So this fast moving weekly still coming down, but your slow is still coming up. You had a hint, but now it's straightening out. So we could, this one went way higher, so there's still potential to go much higher there. So we haven't got that cross down. If we get the cross down on the weekly Stokes, that could be a short term or more like a mid-term death sentence. Not a long term, but a mid-term. So if we can keep going higher, you'll see that fast moving Stoke cross up. The reason I use both of these is the fast one is more sensitive. So you might catch a trade a little sooner, like here. That was perfect. If you had traded that one, you caught that bottom, where this took some time for confirmations. But the slow moving is going to involve a stronger confirmation if you want to be safer. All right, so that's why I'm using both of them. And one step at a time. If this one crosses up, then this one could keep going. All right, let's see. Let's go down to the daily real quick. On the daily, price currently 95.27. We did have a nice bullish wick there and putting in another green candle, so looking decent here. Let me put my volume back on. All right, let's look at the moving averages. Moving averages, okay, today we're looking to close back above 9,500. So at current price, that would be successful. So we'll have to see what happens. But we want to get back above that yellow 21 EMA, 9,500, and then you have resistance, the blue 10 simple at 9,570. If we could even close back above 9,570, would look good, and probably attempt higher to 9,800 to 10K possibly, okay? So we're looking to see how that closes, but you could get some continuation there if that is successful. And you found support. You wick down and close back above this dark blue 50 simple, coming in at 93.27, and you have your support levels coming down this way, okay? Looking at the Ichimoku clouds, Ichimoku cloud hitting resistance there at 96.64. So it depends, how you want to play it. Closing above, let's see. Yeah. So, we could close above that blue 10 simple, but you'd still have resistance there at 96.60. So, I don't know. Depends what you put more weight on, okay? But these are just levels of resistance. I mean, there's lots of bouncing and, pullbacks in between. So maybe, it interacts with each level, but it doesn't mean it's going to be fully rejected there, okay? To the downside, we do have a large daily cloud here of support if we do happen to fall. So maybe we don't go all the way down to 6K. Your support cloud is coming in around 85.28 over here and rising. So maybe you get a bounce there even, okay? Let's see. Our stochastics, your daily fast stoke crossed up. So like I said, one step at a time. And your slow moving stoke is hinting to cross up. I think if we can get that bullish close above the yellow 21 EMA, you might start seeing a cross on that daily. And I was saying yesterday, if you want to be safe, for confirmation, getting that daily cross up could be a good signal, and you already got the slow moving stoke cross up. So definitely keep that in mind. Your RSI is pretty neutral, guys, all right? But, if we do bounce here, it's not a bad look. We were pretty high on the daily RSI here, so it wasn't the best time to really be chasing the pump when you're that high on the daily. So we gave it time to settle, and we haven't dipped into the bearish zone and potentially going to bounce off of the neutral. So doesn't look bad on the daily either. Looking at the 12-hour real quick. All right, 12-hour, your fast moving stoke is rising and hasn't hinted any cross down. Your slow moving stoke has crossed up, and the 12-hour cross ups are genuinely pretty good calls, especially in an uptrend. Okay, the cross up in an uptrend on a 12-hour is usually a great call. The cross down in a downtrend is a good call. All right, so you do have that cross there. Interesting to see. Let's look at the moving averages possibly. 12-hour, did it close above all moving averages? 95.05 is the yellow. It did. So the last 12-hour did close above all moving averages, and we'll have to see if you get an open and close right here above 9,500. And so you would, if the daily closes above that yellow 21 daily and the 12-hour, looking good because you have an open and close above it. All right, moving average or Ichimoku real quick, bouncing off of the daily cloud. We bounced here off the daily cloud, or the 12-hour cloud. We bounced here off the 12-hour cloud and bounced again. So finding support on that 12-hour cloud looks good. Can't be too bearish, not yet. And going down to the 4-hour to wrap it up. 4-hour, let's see our moving averages. Moving averages looking to close above all moving averages. You do have this resistance right here at 95.25, and we're at 95.22. So I wanted to close above 9,500. I want to close above 95.25 to be above all 4-hour. But it's not going to be perfect. That's why we look at all of the time frames, not just one, to gauge what we're looking at. But right now, guys, you know, there's definitely potential for the upside. In my opinion, this is not financial advice. Ichimoku clouds hitting resistance though, and a red cloud forming. Now this can close back up and change if you do break that resistance, but you do see we're right at resistance right now. If we get rejected, this red cloud's going to get a bit larger. Stochastics, your slow moving stoke is high, might cross down, hasn't confirmed yet, and now we're dropping 95, getting a little red there. So we'll keep our eye on that. Your slow moving stoke is still coming down. But this, you know, cross here, this may have already played out. We'll have to see how that happens, okay? But if you do, you know, lose that rising trend line we were looking at, if you close back beneath it, you might come back down to test 9,200, and you would probably get that 4-hour cross back down. So we'll have to monitor this. All right, I think that's been enough for me today. Thanks again for watching, and I will be back next time. Rolly roll.